Yes, a very good evening to all our guests and friends right here at the Geylang Serai Community Club's virtual CC program itself. And today is actually another series of the Money Mastery show right here at the virtual CC program. We would like to bring you quality content in terms of personal finance and also business news. So all of you know that actually one thing that we all always cannot run away with if you are right here in Singapore is this thing called CPF, okay? So CPF, a lot of people will feel a little bit scared. Sometimes people say that, hey, is this like something that, the government trying to lock my money down for very, very long and do other things with it? And why can't I actually use it for this matter, that matter, and all that? So today we are here to actually discover how CPF can actually benefit you instead of giving you a trouble, okay? Because a lot of people always feel that CPF is for retirement, but actually CPF is actually a way for you to make money as well, okay? So if you don't want to miss the opportunity to learn more about how you can make use and leverage on CPF, this is the right program you have to be in right here for today. So a warm welcome once again to all our friends right here. My name is Huijie, and today I'm very happy to actually have a guest right here, which is known popularly as the Mr CPF, right here at the program to actually share with us on how we can take advantage and make use of CPF and potentially become a millionaire, okay? So if you'd like to find out, do stay tuned right here. But right now, let's pan our screen to the slide. So this program aims to educate the public on business and finance as to prepare our citizens to be future ready while Singapore march towards its mission to be Asia's business and financial hub. So to better outreach to the masses, it will be a series of dialogue and at the same time with a twist of informal and interactive infotainment program covering local and international business and financial news. So before we kickstart the program proper, I would like to actually share with all of you as well a disclaimer. This program is for information purpose only and should not be constructed as recommendation for purchase, sales, subscribe, or participate in any services or products. So before acting on the information provided, please consider if it suits your objective and risk tolerance. And should you need professional advice, do consult the MES registered representative list. If you need more assistance, we can always refer qualified professional for your consideration. So with that right here for today, as we mentioned that we're going to be having a very special guest joining me. He's none other than Mr. Lu, and he's the founder of the 1M65 movement. If you're thinking what is 1M65 means, you can achieve $1 million at 65 years old. And he's known popularly as the Mr. CPF, where he actually also used to actually have quite a fair bit of entrepreneurship experience in a few areas as well, and also was with Singtel as one of the higher management. And of course, this is actually his 93 talk for this thing called the 1M65, okay? So without further ado, if you'd like to know more, and he's actually also a philanthropy, he's currently coaching a lot of people for the past 5 years, right? Fellow Singaporeans in terms of how to be a millionaire. And it's all pro bono. I think everyone would like to have free advice, right? So if you'd like to catch Mr. Lu right here, of course, he will be very, very happy to share with us on how we can grow our wealth with CPF. And with that, right now, let's put our hands together, my hands together, and welcome Mr. Lu.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for inviting me here. It's a great pleasure. This is the first time I'm actually giving a talk with my mask on. So pardon me if I fidget a little bit. It's not something I'm very used to, but I'll be happy to share with everybody about interesting financial kung fu that you have with your CPF.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so in fact for today, for friends, if you have some questions they would like to know and all that, feel free to actually just type it on our Facebook chat anytime right now. But if you have missed the opportunity for the live show, what you can do is always to write us an email and we'll try our best to get back to you in 3 working days' time, all right? And meanwhile, at the same time, to spice up the program as well, what we have right here is as long as you can actually join us and like and share this video itself, right, you might be one of the lucky winners that is walking away with a $10 NTUC voucher. And meanwhile, later on, we have 2 lucky draw questions. And right here, what you need to do is just to answer the questions, and you might be walking away with the $10 voucher as well, okay? So feel free to continue to like and share our video right now and to walk away with this special prize. So let's kickstart the program for today. How to be a millionaire powered by your CPF, which is a savings of $1 million of Singapore dollars through CPF. Lou, I really want you to share with us.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's a great pleasure. Yes, yep. So first of all, I think it's a very sorry. How do I click
Next
now?
one.
Okay, yep. A few disclaimer. Number one is that while I'll be talking a lot about CPF, I'll be talking a lot about government policies and things like that, but I don't work for the CPF. Neither do I work for the government, and I certainly don't collect in this event. I don't collect a single cent from anybody. Okay, so really I'm doing this out of general education and for the benefit for everyone. Okay, so I hope that you were enjoying this session. So really, the question is, who wants to be a millionaire? Okay, will we be able to see anybody who wants to be a millionaire? Oh, we can't have hands raised and things like that, like Zoom.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is not a Zoom session, but I'm pretty sure everyone who wants to be a millionaire, just like and share our Facebook page, okay?
All right,
and I know
cool.
that you want to be a millionaire. We'll bless you with a millionaire dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Now, who wants to be a millionaire is a question that everybody will surely answer yes, right? And then the next question is, who's confident of becoming a millionaire one day? And whenever I ask the first question, I see probably half or most of the audience will raise their hand. But when I ask the next question, who's confident of becoming a millionaire, I have maybe 3% to 5% of hands raised up.
Okay, Lou,
And-
I'll support you today.
right,
I'm
thank
confident
you.
to be a millionaire.
Well done, okay? But I hope that through this session that I share, I would move you from a position of doubt, okay, or low confidence to a position where you now know the path and you will eventually become very confident of doing it, okay? So this is the aim of this session. All right, cool. And I want to track back a little bit about my life. So I graduated in 1997, right, from NUS. I studied economics, and when I came out of economics school, I was so excited that things are going to happen for me in a big way, right? So, and I was telling myself that I must be ready because everything was rising then. So property prices was rising, stock market was rising, anything that you touch in the financial market turned into gold. So I was so in a rush to invest, and unfortunately, after I graduated, I quickly tell my girlfriend then that we must quickly get married so that we can buy a house because the house prices are rising like crazy, and so did we. We actually bought a 4-room flat, a small 4-room flat, okay, and I also borrowed a lot of money from my father to do that. I was a young, innocent age of 24 years old, and something terrible happened in 1997. In 1997, Singapore, along with many Asia countries, were hit by this thing called the Asia financial crisis. The Asia financial crisis was a terrible financial hit. It was probably as bad as what we are facing right now in this pandemic. The financial impact was terrible. In some sense, it was worse because the markets were hit terribly. Many things crashed, and I lost easily $100,000 in my HDB flat. Now, for some people, you might say, "Oh, that's a paper loss," but it wasn't. It wasn't a paper loss. It was a real loss because I bought a resale flat, and I also applied for a new flat. And at that point in time, the queues for HDB flats initially were very long. They all suddenly became shortened, and suddenly we have a issue that the new flat came, and my old flat had to be sold at a loss. So we realized the loss of $100 over $1,000. And then our stock market was hit as well. So I really technically became a bankrupt, only to be saved by my father, who was just a primary school teacher, who's a sole breadwinner. I felt so bad, you know. Then I realized that what I really lack is not just financial resources, but more importantly, I was hit by a real lack of financial knowledge. And I told myself, you know, I must beef myself up in this area. And I was lucky that I met a financial guru, and he taught me a lot about financial knowledge, and that changed my life. Okay, so I was exposed to this very incredible concept called compounding. Okay, and this concept called compounding has changed my life. And the financial mentor that I have had taught me this when I was in my late 20s and early 30s. And I've actually personalized this. And everything I share tonight really hovers around this thing. And for some people who knows this concept, I'm going to bring it real in terms of your life. So for compounding, okay, some of you might know it by head knowledge, okay? Now, this table actually tells you that if you find an investment asset that gives you 4% return, okay, if you put $1 inside, it'll give you $3.24. And if you were to do $1 investment in something that gives you 10%, it gives you $17. This is a wonderful alternative to what we Asians like to do, is to punt in stock market and property market. We like to buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. And that kind of investment strategy causes many people to lose a lot of money. Okay, so I would like to impress upon everyone in this talk that actually maybe the alternative, okay, is to find an investment asset and just let it compound. Okay, so the idea then is to earn a lot of money, as much as you can through your salaries, and throw money inside and just let it compound, and you go on with your own life. Okay, so after realizing this, I realized that compounding is really something that has been talked about for a long time. Even Albert Einstein, one of the smartest men in the world, said that the compound interest, the 8 wonders of the world. Whoever understands it, you will make a hell of money, and for people who don't, you will give money to the one who knows. Okay, so you want to be on the right side. So principle number 1 tonight is that you must internalize the power of compounding. Okay, now, so after realizing it, I quickly, designed a very interesting concept called a financial safety net. This concept of financial safety net actually changed my life. Okay, it has made me to be financially secure, and eventually build up my wealth to where it is today. So I've been looking around, and I realized that what can I find that will give me a high return, and I found it in the CPF. Now some of you say, CPF CPF 借錢啊，政府借錢government eat my money, take money don't give back. Well, put it that way, okay? Some of you have prejudice against the government, I understand. Some of you have prejudice against CPF, I also understand, okay? You can hate the government, you can hate CPF, but you must love their money, okay? If the government gives you money, you take or don't take, okay? So I realized that the CPF interest rate is phenomenally high. The ordinary account gives you 2.5%. Today, the CPF interest rate of 2.5%, is highly valued. Why? Because the market interest rate right now is near kosong, near zero. And the special account and the MediSave account gives you some phenomenal 4%. And now if you retire at 55 years old, they move money into this account called retirement account and gives you additional 4%. Okay, so all these are very high interest rates, and over time the government actually have some more things that they give us. For the first $60,000, they give you 1 extra percent. Okay, so for first 60,000, you have 5% interest, not just 4% interest. And when you hit 55 years old, the first 30,000 give you another 1%. So there's many percentages to talk about. In short, I found out, wow, this is something that I must take advantage of. And I came out with this interesting formula. For those people who are suffering from a Sunday night wonderful heavy dinner, this is one slide that you really need to stay awake. Okay, after that you can sleep, no problem. This is my secret kung fu, okay, which is not so secret now. When I was at 30 years old, okay, or 29, 30 years old, I found that if I could max out my special account, at the time the max is about $100,000, and my MediSave as well. The MediSave cap was about $30,000 then. If I could max it out, okay, at that age, and just leave it there until I retire at 65 years old, okay, myself combined with my wife, okay, each of us would build to $500,000. Combining $500,000 and $500,000, we have $1 million. I don't think you're getting it, so I better make it very clear again, okay? This is what I say. If, and I can top up my special account and MediSave account to full, okay, and just let it compound, I don't need to work anymore, and my wife don't need to work anymore for 35 years, and we still have $1 million waiting for us, okay? So, now some of you say, wow, Lou, to save $130,000 not easy, I know, okay? I did that very painfully. And how do we do that is we really cut back on a lot of expenses. We even put cash into CPF. And we forgo, expensive houses and condo dreams and things like that, okay? And as a result, the CPF compounds very fast, okay? So this is what me and my wife did. And as a result of this effort, I began to realize that, wow, I became very thrifty because every dollar that I save right now can make me, $3.24, and even better if I find higher compounding assets, okay? So from 2001 onwards, I raised a lot to save a lot of money, top up my CPF to full, form the financial safety net, and when that is done, the life has changed, okay? So I became very thrifty. I'm, those days, we will eat a lot of hawker food and have simple lifestyle. My kids then were very young. They also started topping up their CPF and so on, okay? So principle number 2 is that, if you want to be rich, put money into compounding asset by being very thrifty. You have to be thrifty in order to save money. I've counseled and mentored many businesses and many people. The 1M65 group in a Telegram group has 14,000 people right now. And we welcome you to join our 1M65 Telegram group in Telegram. But through my life, in my life of mentorship of businesses and people, I found that people who are rich stay rich because they live as if they are quite broke. They live quite pokai. They live very frugally. And there's a lot of people who drive BM, stay in big houses, condominium, actually live so well, but they are actually very broke financially. So I would like to cast this very important thing, is that please do not let the need to impress, the need to hao lian, actually pull you back from a financial goal. Okay, so after I build up my financial safety net, I've got 1M65 all built up. In fact, my financial guts was built up then. So once I have this 1M65 financial safety net all built up, okay, I continue to build a lot of savings. And people ask me, why do you do that? Well, I find that my financial guts has changed. I become more willing to take risks and things like that. So I became to be a very good in investing in the stock market. Okay, this is over the last, from 2008 to now, we have 4 major crises. And if you were to take note of, in 2008 there was a global financial crisis. At that point of time, I've accumulated some savings, quite a lot of savings, and I was waiting for a day, to crash. And when it actually happened, I went, heavy into the market. Now, some of you said, wow, Lou, how do you have the guts to do it? I said, because I've got this 1965 financial safety net there waiting for me. So if you have that waiting for you already, even if you lose everything in the stock market, you still have $1 million waiting for you at a CPF. So what is there to be fearful of? So global financial crisis, I whacked heavy into it. Then, now I still kept a bit because at that point in time was still first time, dabble big time into the stock market. So then when we reach 2012, when the when the Europe debt crisis hit, if you were to recall, it was Greece who collapsed, Italy also went nearly bankrupt, and plus a few other countries like Ireland and things like that. The Europe debt crisis drove a lot of country stock market down. The whole world's stock market went down, and I went in big as well. Okay. In fact, I went in so big that I ran out of money. I started taking out money from my kids' bank account, their ang pao money and things like that. Okay, and then we put money into it, and of course the stock market rise. And then 2015 was the China stock market crisis. This time I went in really big, $1 million investment. And then in COVID crisis was the biggest I ever invested in. So why am I telling you all this is because when you have a financial safety net properly built up, especially in a CPF, that is very secure, you have less fear or no fear when it comes to other investments. Okay, so that's a very interesting investment strategy I would like to share with everybody. So, to win in the stock market, especially being very logical, buying low and able to buy low when it crashes, you first need to build a financial safety net, and I've shared with you how to do it really. Okay, so my Kung Fu was actually being discovered by the CPF board, and they interviewed me in 2015. Okay, and wrote this article about me. That time I was 42 years old. And at that point in time, people actually, the CPF branding and public perception wasn't very good. Everybody, would actually say that, wow, this guy, this is a 政府的走狗, it's like a government dog, CPF is all 骗人万假累万, that kind of thing. So I was being branded Mr. CPF, but Mr. CPF is then a very negative phrase. But surprisingly, a few person managed to see through a light. We have got financial advisors and a few bloggers write and just said, hey, I never thought that CPF can make $1 million, Then someone actually calculated and just said, well, Mr. Lu said that he and his wife combined together one M65. This one is too lousy. Actually, if you really put your heart to it, you can accumulate $1 million on CPF alone by 57 years old. Okay, and I think that article came out, and subsequently more and more people wrote about it. Okay, so over time, mainstream media caught wind of my strategy. It was published in Straits Times, and on the article on the left is my mentee as well. So more and more people talk about CPF, and over time, I used to have majority of people are very against CPF. Now I think we get quite a good, and then it became like half. I think today a lot of people are now pro CPF because we see now phenomenal amount of money pouring back in the CPF as a top up to take advantage of the low interest rates. Okay, for some of you who are still having that perception that CPF is out to get your money, I think you're missing out a huge chunk of money that you duly deserve. Okay, as I said, you don't like the government, but please, you must love their money. Even website like the Online Citizen, which is not very friendly government, also supported my strategy. Okay, so the fact that it's guaranteed by government is one of the safest investment for you. More and more articles came out and things like that. Okay, then I started this movement called 1M65, 1 million by 65. Okay, today we have got 4M65 and 10M65 as a follow-up strategy. And I think that may be a separate talk that we can have with Geylang Serai community. So I think it's very interesting. Okay. So then more and more institutions and organizations invited me to talk about 1M65. I started talking about 5 years ago, and since then, today I've spoken to at least many tens of thousands of people, and this is my 93rd talk. Okay, 93rd talk. I'm counting. I think I really going within 1 or 2 months. I probably hit 100 talk. Okay, and I realized that talking is not enough. And I started writing as well. And there are articles I write. I even have the honor to have to be invited by CPF to talk to CPF about CPF. And a few years ago, the government has actually awarded me an award for a public sector transformation award for contribution to the society. I need to say this, okay? In my 5 years of my 1965 movement effort, I've not collected a single cent for doing this, okay? So that you know that this is really out to help you, okay? Whether you make money or not will not profit me a single cent, but it will make me happy that you are happy, okay? I've written a lot of articles as I realized that I can only talk so much. It takes a lot of energy and effort to just talk. I realized that when I write, more people read about it. So you can find my articles in the internet. Just Google my name, okay? Or you can now follow us in our Telegram page and Lu1M65. And also, we have a Facebook page and YouTube channel. Later, we'll share with you guys. This is very interesting, okay? So when we were, I was telling you that 1M65, that means 1 million by 65. But that assumed that my wife and I stopped working. Then we'll have 1M65, 1 million by 65. But what if we continue to work, okay? Then suddenly I didn't realize, and as we cross 45 years old, we actually have a combined CPF savings of $1 million in our CPF. And in fact, I just crossed 49 years, we are going to cross 49 years old this year. The last count we have is that we have $1.5 million now in our CPF, and it's rising. And the reason why it's rising is because the initial years of compounding goes like this, very slow. Then, as the years goes by, it suddenly, brings up exponentially. And this is the power of compounding, okay? Every year, it adds, phenomenal sum of money because the interest rate is just very high. And in fact, we now have a strategy called 4M65, 4 million by 65. Just follow us on our YouTube and our Telegram page, and you will figure out that strategy. Or another time, if Geylang Serai Community Center will invite me to come back, I'm happy to share about 4M65.
We will certainly invite you back because we want to make multiple millions.
Okay, thank you.
I believe everyone wants to make multiple million, right? Especially at this age, things are not very, very stable and all that. Something that is safe for us to invest in and get us the return, I think that is something that we all want to know. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah, back to Lu. Yeah.
Thank you. So some practical tips. Just as an add-on for tonight's audience, if you're nearing 55 years old, okay, I'll just go very quickly. I call this a 5-4-5-5 maneuver, okay, 5-4-5-5 Kung Fu. So the 5-4-5-5 refers to 54 years old and 55 years old. For some of you who are nearing this age, you got to pay attention. For some of you whose parents are going this age, please pay attention. For some of you whose friends are going to this age, you got to pay attention for their sake as well. At 54 years old, just before you're 55 years old, you got to do this thing called CPF, special account shielding. And after 55 years old, you can do something to top up, create the highest savings account ever. Okay, and I'll talk about this. Very quickly, when you are 54 years old, okay, if you have got your special account fully filled up, okay, you got to take advantage of this, okay. So on the left hand side, it shows that, you know, if this is my, let's say when I'm at 54 years old, I have $200,000 in my ordinary account and 181,000 in my special account. When I flip to 55 years old, what happened is that the government would take $181,000 from my special account and put it into my retirement account. The special account used 4% interest, and the retirement account also used 4% interest, so there's no loss, okay? But, okay, someone, not me, has figured out this strategy to maximize the returns, okay? The ordinary account only makes 2.5%, okay? So if just before 54 years old, you could park your special account $181,000 out, okay? Now, for simplicity, let's assume you can do all out, but you can't in practical, but let's assume you can do majority of or all of it. 181,000 out, let's say for a bond fund, okay? You can just buy 1 or 2 weeks before, and move the fund out. Then on your 55th birthday, when the government, the CPF will say, hey, your special account is kosong. So what it does is that it takes out money from your 2.5% ordinary account and now park $181,000, okay, into your retirement account. So the jump is a phenomenal 2.5% to 4% interest, okay? Then after you're 55 years old, you quickly sell that bond fund, okay, and it shifts back the $181,000 back into a special account. So you make an incremental jump from your 2.5% ordinary account to a 4% account. You still continue to make money at a 4 to 6% interest in your special account. So this is a very powerful way to increase your interest in your CPF when you approach 55 years old. Okay, so we call this essay shooting. Now, if I've gone too fast, you can watch this again. If not, you know, come and join us on our Telegram group. We have experts there, you know, volunteers there that can help to share some of these articles that are talking about. Second is that at 50, while you're near 55 years old, you can actually create what I call the ultimate 2.5% savings account. Okay? A lot of us use our CPF ordinary account and withdraw a lot of it out to buy house. Okay? The CPF actually knows that now you owe them money. Okay? How much you owe them is exactly equals to what you have taken out. On top of that, you know, they calculate this thing called accrued interest. That means they assume that if the money had been inside the CPF, you would have accumulated this amount of savings. They want you to pay back, okay? So if you sell the house. So now, this mechanism now turned to our advantage. A lot of them say, oh, yeah, you know, I don't return back. Now, precisely at this time, where the interest rate outside is so bad, okay? Now, this is the best thing to do. A lot of people are actually returning cash into a CPF. Some say, well, you return cash, you know, you get locked up. No, okay? Because at 55 years old, assuming you have got this thing called full retirement sum in your special account that's already parked with your retirement account, the amount of cash you put in to your cash you put into your ordinary account can be taken out any time you want. Okay? So once you cross 55, so you can take out any time you want. Some people say, Lou, can I put back money, return this CPF that I withdraw out before 54 years old? You can. But just think of it like a fixed D. So let's say you are 53 years old, you actually put back money, you can have 2 years of fixed deposit. After the 2 years, you can take it out any time, which I strongly tell everybody not to do so until you have the need to do so. So it is very important for you to please consider this. Okay, it's a very high interest very high interest savings account that you can create for yourself. Okay. So I've calculated, you know, the 5455 maneuver would have easily make us $170,000 more by 65 years old. For each and every one of us might be different, you know, depending how much you have withdrawn out from your CPF. But I think this is a strategy that makes you a few $100,000 that you shouldn't ignore. Okay. So I talk a lot, but I strongly encourage you all to follow us in our Telegram channel. It's called Lu1M65. Go to Telegram and search. For some of you all who likes to watch YouTube videos, we've got some educational YouTube videos that I've created. Follow us at the YouTube called 1M65 channel. Okay. I'm going to be publish a lot more instructional video, educational video for everybody in short bite-sized segment for you to be able to be updated. Okay, we have got a huge community of experts in a 1M65 Telegram group that helps you to be able to answer all your financial questions and things like that. Okay, some of them are even far smarter than I am. Okay, so with this, thank you for this chance. And oops, I jumped too much. For the chance to share, okay?
Yeah.
And we welcome any questions, and please ask on the Facebook page, and I can answer some of these questions now.
Yeah, so in fact, actually, while Lou was sharing and all that, I was actually browsing the 1M65 community. It's actually pretty interesting. Just today alone, there are so many people who are talking about different type of items and all that. I realized that actually this whole platform, right, has a lot of users, and they seems to be pretty smart as well. Do you actually hire them, or they are all like full volunteers and stuff? I'm just like really browsing it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So the 1M65 community is a full volunteer base, and we have got a panel of what we call community experts. These people come from all walks of life, but they have one thing in common: they are very good financially. And I've kind of appointed some of them to be community experts. I do meet up with them before the circuit breaker and so on. And we strongly encourage these community experts to contribute. Because first of all, I'm not as good as at all aspects of financial advice. So I cannot give adequate advice to everybody. But these financial experts come from all walks of life. Some of them are good with insurance, some of them are good with property, some of them are good with legal and things like that. So every one of them contribute this purely from a good volunteer basis. Don't collect a single cent. They are really out to help fellow Singaporeans, and I strongly encourage you to trust them. Okay, because I don't know whether I'm crossed the line. I strongly encourage you to participate and have this educational platform to help yourself.
All right, thank you so much for that. So in fact, actually we have the quiz, but right now, because there are some questions coming in, let's jump straight to the Q&A first, yeah? So do interact with us. For those who are live right now, actually I've seen a few messages coming in already. I'll read it out shortly. For those who like to actually interact with us live right now, what you can do is just to go into the comment box of this Facebook video itself and just punch in all your queries, okay? Feel free to punch in anything, no right and wrong, and no question is stupid, okay? And meanwhile, if you think that it's something too personal that you like to actually have it, more like unknown kind of thing, what you can do is to write an email to us. I'm seeing it right now as well. I can receive an email right now also to raise this question for you, okay? So let's kickstart the first question. And meanwhile, thank you so much for all our guests right here. We have 100 over views just now, in fact. So indeed interesting and amazing. So let's kickstart with the first question from Gary, okay? So Gary's asked that, what is the purpose of maxing out the MediSave account? And the money in MediSave can be taken out after a certain age, right?
So that's a good question, Gary. The MediSave account also earns a 4% interest, okay? And the more you max out, the more 4% you get. Now, the MediSave account you can't take out, but you can use it at a later years for medical emergencies and things like that. And trust me, medical expenses are very expensive right now. It doesn't take very long once you cross 65 years old to be hit with some medical emergency, and in a short while you'll be wiped out. So my strong encouragement to everybody is to quickly top it up to full. Do not use your MediSave at all if you can while you're young, okay? And earn that 4% interest, okay? Eventually, when you retire, when you're in your 70s or 80s, chances are you will wipe it out very quickly in 1 or 2 medical emergency.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, Gary, hope that we have answered your question. If you have more queries, feel free to just type it in as well. Next, we have Darren, who is asking that when we withdraw money after 55, can we choose SA or OA to withdraw?
Okay, so at 55 years old, what happened is that first, the government will take out $186,000, and it goes, the number increases every year, but $186,000 from your special account into your retirement account, okay? And if you don't have enough in your special account, they also take out from your ordinary account. But basically, they want to top up your retirement account to full, and from there, it will be dispensed to you after 65 years old through CPF Life, and you can opt for it to be dispensed to you at 70 years old as well. So above $186,000, you can take out any amount. Let's say you're $1 million, in whatever proportion between your OA and SA, it doesn't matter. Above $186,000, you can take out any amount. Okay, so so while that is true that you can take out, I strongly encourage you to think twice before you take it out, because once you take out, you cannot find any other instrument that give you that kind of high interest. So once you cross 55 years old, you already have that flexibility to take out any time. Okay, now some of you have no faith in the government, some have no faith in CPF. That's a different matter. But the policy is such that you can take out any time. Okay, beyond $186,000 after 55 years old.
Okay, thank you so much. And next, let's go to the next question from LKU. Can you talk about SRS? Assuming that if the person's OA and SA is able to reach ERS, how can SRS help him, especially towards tax saving and capital improvement? And are there other ideas or tools to use?
Okay, that's a good question. SRS is a tax deferment scheme. Okay, and I think it's important for us to realize this. I think the statistics is that more than half of Singaporeans don't pay income tax. So SRS itself only benefits less than half the Singapore working population. So before you decide that you want to put money in your SRS, the SRS work in this scheme. Okay, you can top up, I think, $15,300 of cash into the SRS account. Okay, and that amount will be free from tax at a year. When you retire, you can take out the money, and then you'll be taxed then at your income level, which by then your income level should be lower because you retired. So that's the kind of scheme. So it's a tax deferment scheme, taking advantage that you can actually have a lower tax bracket when you retire. Okay. First of all, as I said, you only benefit those people who have high income tax. Okay. If you have 1 or 2% or 5% income tax, not very sure whether that really is really beneficial. So the second is that after you make the money in the tax savings, which is attractive, you got to put the SRS into something that makes good financial return. For myself, I put money into S&P 500 exchange traded funds or unit trust equivalent, or a global fund. So that's just me, and I'm a strong believer of buying indices. I'm a strong non-believer in investing in Singapore stocks. I think in Singapore stocks, a lot of the stocks actually has very bad return, including the STI index itself. But that's just my opinion, and I'm happy to be presented with a counter opinion on that. Okay, so really, SRS is only good for those people with a reasonably high income tax bracket. Okay, next please.
All right, so there's a question from Bun. So if I'm single, because just like you were saying that you built one M65 with your wife and all that, right? If I'm single, how should I build 1M by 65 years old?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Fun, right? Is that the name? One, is it? So one is a good question. I just want to say that today is rudimentary. This is like a secondary school or O levels of financial education from me. where I've actually shared this strategy called 4M65, 4 million by 65. For a couple, it's possible to make 4 million by 65, which means that for a single, it's very possible to make 1 million by 65 alone. If you're to start your compounding as early as you can, okay? Don't wait until it's too late. Maximize your special account as much as you can, and avoid buying expensive houses, especially private condominiums and things like that. But that's a personal choice, and I respect those people who have alternate view.
Okay, so we have Janice here. So Janice says that I read that for annual income of $80,000 or more, putting money into the SRS account will be worthwhile for tax relief. Is that true?
Thanks, Janice. That's a good question. It's a similar thing, right? So as I said, it really depends on your tax bracket. For those people who make maybe $20,000, $30,000, SRS really doesn't make sense, because I'm pretty sure your tax bracket will be so low, or even no tax. For $80,000, chances are your tax bracket is a lot higher. It really depends on your tax allowance and tax credit and things like that. But at a certain level, you will know yourself that my income tax is high, let's say at 10%. Then it makes a lot of sense for you to adopt a SRS strategy, so that you will save on your tax bill. Okay, next please.
Okay, so we have Darren here. Darren is asking that if I have extra funds after FRS, my understanding for withdrawal is actually after 55 if CPF only allow us to withdraw SA first before OA. Is that true?
I'm not sure of the sequence. I think it's probably true. Okay, so it's probably true. But I'm not so sure a sequence of, I haven't really shared, but I'm not so sure a sequence whether is it SA first then OA. Chances are it's true, because SA makes a higher interest rate. I'm sure the government want you to take out more money. So my take out from the one that cost them more money. So I will, but still, as I said, my strong encouragement for you is that try not to touch your CPF money until you need to, because it just makes a hell of interest for you.
Sure. All right. So if Darren, if you need more assistance and all that, feel free to write into us. We will definitely assist you with the answers that you need and all that as well. Okay. Our community is big enough. We have a lot of people that can help you and all the warriors as well. Okay. In our 1M65 movement itself. Okay. And next we have Bless. So Bless is asking that I have basic retirement account. I'm currently working. I paid in income tax yearly. I can withdraw or put money into CPF. Is that a question or a statement?
I don't exactly know the question.
I repeat once again.
Yes.
What Bless mentioned is I have OPT, right? That's right? Okay. I have basic retirement account. I'm currently working. I paid income tax yearly. I can withdraw or put money into CPF.
Okay, so she's 30 years old, right?
She didn't state her age. Bless, if you don't mind, you can
Okay,
you can give us a range if you want to, so that we can give you a better
as a strategy, if you, I strongly encourage everybody to just, maximize your whatever you can on your CPF SA, or even your retirement account. The retirement account right now, you can have an enhanced retirement account. Sorry, enhanced retirement scheme, whereby you can have $279,000 being filled up in your retirement account. So by the time you let that compound, so let's say at 55 years old, you push your retirement account to $279,000. By the time you reach 65, 70 years old, you have such a huge retirement account that your monthly disbursement of your CPF life will be very, very huge.
Okay, all right, great. Next is actually from Chu. I have comprehensive insurance coverage and I spend a lot on insurance premium. Not sure if I should max top up for my MediSave.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Sure. I have a very comprehensive insurance coverage and I spend a lot on insurance premium. not sure if I should still top up my MediSave. Should I max it up?
I'm going to say something very controversial. Okay, there's something controversial is this, that that life insurance that combines an investment element and a insurance element are very expensive. Okay, they don't give you enough coverage and they don't give you enough returns generally. So I'm not so sure about your insurance package, but generally when you have life insurance or investment linked policies, they don't give, it's either very expensive or as I said, they don't give you enough returns or they don't give you enough cover. So or you paid a lot of money for it. As a principle, I would tend to believe that, term insurance is a better buy, okay? And if you want to invest. If you want insurance, buy term insurance. Don't mix both together, okay? So I cannot answer your question whether is it enough. I would just say this: I think it's very important to have hospitalization plans and things like that. Those are important. But if you just talk about medical cover through life, if you just talk about life insurance, I generally have a very negative view. But that's just my view. Okay.
There's a lot of people in the insurance and a lot of people in the general public always say this thing: buy term and invest the rest.
Yes.
There's this very popular term
Sure.
that everyone always say, okay? But it's up to you. If you think that you are not very good in investment, you don't want to manage all this unit trust or whichever, ILP is still quite a good choice. Some of the ILP nowadays are pretty low in terms of management fee and all that. Feel free to explore around, because in this whole world, there are a lot of things that are changing, ever changing, okay? So next, we come to the next question here, where we have from Lin Lin. And the question is, hi, my spouse is 40 and does not have any CPF contribution at all. And she's not working. Is it too late? How can we salvage the situation? Please help.
Now, it is a personal choice. Some people want to be homemakers and things like that. I would strongly encourage, if possible, number one is that, if you can top up your spouse CPF, okay, especially when you max out yours. Second is that, I really encourage everybody to work. Even a part-time work is still better than no. Now, some short-term unemployment, that's a different story. But I think it's very important for everybody to max out as much as they can in their CPF contribution. So that's why I say encourage them to work a little bit, to contribute some CPF, and so that when they're retired, they have a stream of income flowing into their pocket. To have no CPF, it's a very it's a really it's like it's really like going for a high-speed drive and without buckling up your safety belt. At some point in time, you might get in trouble eventually. So when you have got not enough financially to cover your retirement, especially when the planning needs to start now, right? Before you start driving, you need to buckle a safety belt. Not along the way, then you buckle. Okay, so you need to build that safety net as early as possible. 40 years old is not too late. Okay, the longer you wait, the pain it becomes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and next we have Janice here, and her question will be, would you recommend us to use CPF OA account to invest in SPY ETF?
That's a good question. The caveat is that number one, make sure you max out your. I would do that. No, I cannot tell you what you should do. I would max out my SA first, okay? Because it just gives a phenomenal high return at no risk. Then for the remaining OA, OA only gives you 2.5%. SPY is the S&P 500. There's only one way you can invest SPY. I think there's a financial startup called Endowus. They are the only company that CPF allowed for you to use your CPF OA to buy the S&P 500. So you can do that. You can do that, and I do that as well. Okay. So I am a big believer of that. But the premise is that I already built up a financial safety net.
Okay, so for those viewers who are new into Money Mastery, in fact, Endow Us was here before and they'll be coming back again this month itself. Okay, if you'd like to actually watch the video of Endow Us, we'll post it into the comment button later on today after this program itself. Okay, so last two questions for today because we are coming almost to the end of the program. Next is actually from Dan. Dan is saying that I'm 40 years old and have used about 200K from my OA for property and about 100K left in my OA account. So far, my interest is actually around 30,000. Should I pay back the 200K then avoid the 2.5 interest?
Okay, that's a good question. Really depends. Number one is, as I say, first of all, look at your own financial needs. Okay, whether I would set a bit of money just in case there's a rainy day. Maybe at least 3 to 6 months for monthly mortgages. Beyond that, your OA is sitting there idling, your cash is sitting there idling, no harm putting some money back. So the other one is that make sure you max out your special account to the max. So I strongly encourage that and build your financial safety net first with your special account. After that, explore maxing out your returns with your CPF.
Okay, so last question for today, all right? Yeah, so will be from Ben. And Ben is asking that will you advise husband to transfer CPF SA to wife's CPF as wife is not working?
You cannot transfer your SA to another person's SA or so, okay? But you can, I think you can top up cash into their account, okay? I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you cannot even top up from your OA into their CPF account. But I'm not very sure on that. I can clarify that. But as a principle, if your own SA is already filled up, okay, then quickly top up through cash or whatever means of your spouse OA. I would do that definitely. And in fact, there's one more topic I didn't cover today, which I hope I'll cover in time to come, is you should also top up your kids' special account. Every Singaporean baby at birth has a special account, okay? Every parent should be aggressive in topping up their special account. I have an article called 10 million by 65. And the 10 million by 65 that talks about this. If you top up their kids to full, and of course you need to be rich parents to do that from a very young age, the power of compounding will bring them to $10 million. Okay, I have an article on that. Welcome you to read it. Just write to join us in our group, and we'll talk about that. Okay.
All right, yeah, so thank you so much, Lou, for all the answers and all that. And in fact, today we are very, very lucky to have so many friends right here and so enthusiastic. We are like a few hundred viewers and all that just now live. And at the same time, more than 10 over questions. And we have to stop it here because it's almost coming to the end of the program. But I believe that our friends are still asking about the question, which is actually our lucky draw and quiz and all that, right? So due to time constraint, what we will do is actually we'll be posting the quiz question into the comment box later on, okay? And feel free to answer them, and we will have 3 working days time for you to answer all these because we do understand that some viewers might not watch it live right here, okay? So with the end of the note for today, Lou, would you mind to share with us what's your thought in terms of, personal finance and also money mastery for everyone's journey in Singapore?
So I think it's very important for everybody to know this, that it is all about the knowledge, okay? It is all about knowledge, and it is all about a personal commitment to get it done. Keep your mind very open and learn as much as you can. Pick up good financial knowledge and advice from the right people, and do it, okay? You will do very well in life.
All right, so thank you so much for Lou. And yes, we of course indeed come to almost the end of the program. But meanwhile, for friends who are new right here, in fact, every Tuesday and Sunday, we do have this program at around 8 p.m., sometimes 8:30 itself, where you can actually come in and join us and interact with all our guests right here. And meanwhile, at the same time, learn about how you can grow yourself during this period of time. So COVID has brought us a lot of changes in life. And at the same time, a lot of us are also also always constantly looking for new avenue in terms of investment and savings, and of course something that can give us a second source of income. But do take note that in the finance industry, there's a lot of scams going on. There's a lot of things like misleading or wrong advice, kind of thing that is actually influencing us. So if you'd like to learn the proper way on how you can grow yourself, Money Mastery Program is one of the best way and best platform that you can actually come forward and join us, interact, and of course to learn quality information from all our guests. Okay. So meanwhile, we will be ending the program for the day, and we'll see you again on Tuesday itself, where we'll bring you something in terms of fintech, where we have a professor and also a chairman of an association joining us. I will not reveal who they are right now because I would like you to come forward and join us again on next Tuesday itself. Okay. Till then, thank you so much, Lou. And Lou with me together here.
Thank you.
We are signing off for tonight. Thank you so much, and good night.